Ready? I guess thoughts in the season, Rick.
Yeah, not where we wanted to end up. The goal every year is to win the Grey Cup, and we fell short of that this year. And glad we made the playoffs, but not not what we wanted.
I guess the hard question is what went wrong.
Well, I don't think we were consistent enough. I think was the overall thing. A kind of the 9-9 record, I think, was kind of reflective of what we were. We did some really good things at times, and then other times we didn't. And it was even then to the last game in the Saskatchewan playoff game, there were some things we did well and had a chance there to win the game in the second half, and we just didn't get it done and fell short.
Rick, I don't think anyone expected this football team to finish 9-9 the way that you started and the way that you played at times. What's the level of disappointment and letting your owner down with the level of commitment that he showed to this football team this season?
Yeah, I don't. I think the absolute world of Amar, but I'm never. These players are not letting anybody down. They're busting their butts. So I don't view it. I don't view people that go out and do things, in front of a crowd and doing something that if they wanted to play safe, they can go work a desk job or something. So I stay away from that, letting people down. Of course, we think the world of Amar, and we want to win every game for that guy because he gives us every opportunity to do it. I just stay away from that part of it.
How do you evaluate, as co-general manager, the job that you did as a coach and your coaching staff? How do you separate that, and how do you give an honest evaluation?
Yeah, these next few days are very important. I think it's really important to do a lot of listening, listening without judgment and letting people talk and get feedback. And that's part of what's going to happen over these next few days and weeks is evaluating, making sure we're doing the right stuff as coaches and making sure, we're doing the right stuff as far as players we're keeping, all those things. So there's a lot of decisions to be made. I think there's a lot of pieces here that are good, that there's a good foundation here. But we're going to have to be really smart on, the deletions and additions that we make to make us better.
You said throughout the season that you felt that the right guys were in the room. Do you still feel that way?
I think we had the right people. I think our heart's in the right place. I don't think we made enough plays. I think that's what it comes down to. Winning, the name of the game is not just being, good people with your heart in the right place. It comes down to making plays to win the game, and we just didn't do that enough on a consistent basis. I think there was a want to and a willingness. I just think we didn't execute at times when needed to pull games out.
Whenever a team underperforms, those above have difficult decisions to make. So I'm assuming at some point, you'll talk to the president and the owner.
Yeah.
And at that point, what will be Rick Campbell's sales pitch, for lack of a better word, in terms of why I'm the guy to continue to get this right?
Yeah, I'm glad the script has flipped here, because I know when I got here, if we were 9-9 and made the playoffs, they'd think that's a great thing. And so I'm glad we're in a mode now of that just making the playoffs isn't a good enough season for us. So I'm glad the bar has been raised. I know I'm all in. It's been a long season, but even today I just feel energized about being here and going forward. And I think there's a lot of right pieces. I think we're at a strength at the QB position in the off season. I think there's a lot of pieces here that are winning pieces, and I think we need to be strategic in free agency, where if we can add one or two impact people that can make big plays, I think it's going to make a big difference for us. And I think the reason I get excited about being here, I think it starts with Amar and trickles all the way down, is that this is a great place to be. There's Amar's all in, and so when he's all in, it makes all of us want to be all in. So.
I know I asked you this in season, and it's tough to ask when you're kind of in the moment, but and again, I'm asking this with the benefit of hindsight, understanding that, after the fact, things look different than maybe they did in the moment and why you made decisions when you made them. In hindsight, after hearing what some of the players had to say about how the quarterback situation was handled, would you have done it any differently?
I'll always reflect and try to learn from it. In the moment, I was trying to be very thoughtful and doing the what I thought was best for the team. I still am sticking to my story. I don't think the QB was the issue, either one of those guys. I think the issue was our whole football team, and I'm sticking to that statement. We can win with either one of those guys, and they were playing well enough to win. Of course, they can be better too, but I just think as a whole group, whole football team, we needed to be better, and we tried to switch it up. At the end with VA going back in there, and he deservedly so. I wouldn't change a thing to try to create a spark. But I kind of was in the mode as I was hoping we didn't need a spark. I was hoping that we would be playing well enough that we wouldn't require that.
And when I ask the question, I'm not asking it as a reflection of the quarterback's play. I'm asking it as a reflection of how the room maybe dealt with those decisions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always trying to be a listener. I never felt, I never got the vibe of people being divided or angry or upset. I think they both understand. I think everybody around here understands that they're both legit quarterbacks that could be starting for many teams. And I think it would make no sense that we didn't bring Nathan back here when maybe every other team in the league would sign him. So I'm glad we're in a position in the offseason of operating from a place of strength where right now we have two legitimate quarterbacks and, go from there. So I view it too as a unique situation that I don't think comes up very often where Nathan comes back in the in the middle of the season and we just went from there.
Is there a way
Start of the year, you believe you have the personnel to compete for a breakup. Where did it go wrong in that sense?
I think we lacked making plays. When it came down to the home stretch, and even in that last game, there are times where you need to make plays, either to get off the field on 2nd and long, or to make a big play on offense, or the special teams to come up with a big play. And I think that's what we lacked. We did some of the hard work and that type of stuff, but that's not the fun and flashy part of it. So I think that's where we fell short. I think if you looked at us the previous 2 years, we were kind of the opposite. We were where you could argue that, hey, they're not physical enough, they don't hold up enough, but man, we were exciting and fun to watch and, making big plays and all that. So we kind of flipped the script on ourselves.
Is that scheme, personnel, or combination?
I think it's all of it. We'll definitely do that. That's an off-season job for coaches, just to make sure you're evolving and growing and putting players in the best position to make plays. And then it's also up to the players to make plays. So I think it's a function of all of us, including me, just not getting it done.
I know it's early in the process, but where do you feel this team needs to improve the most?
Like I said, I don't want to be a rush to judgment this close to out, but we will definitely do a thorough job of making sure we evaluate me, the coaches, and also all the players, and making sure you kind of watch people. And we always, not only do we, when we evaluate, we talk about people with trending up or holding steady or trending down, all those things. And those are decisions that we're going to have to make. And I do think there are a lot of good pieces on this football team, but there needs to be some pieces added, and that's our job to do over the next couple months.
Just to confirm, Rick, you are under contract for next season, correct?
Yep.
When do you expect to have confirmation one way or another whether you'll be brought back and able to coach out the last year of that deal?
I've been told, I'm working and I'm doing my thing, so I haven't heard otherwise.
Do you see a world next year with both Vernon Adams and Nathan Work at quarterback here?
Probably in the salary cap area. That's not an era or whatever you call this, the salary cap era. That's probably not feasible. Selfishly, I sure like both those guys as players and as people and the way they conduct themselves. But we'll have to see how this all plays out. And we even talked about pumping the brakes on making sure we're listening to people first over these next few days and getting feedback and making sure we're making clear-headed decisions about things. But that's not for today. That's for the coming weeks.
And I guess you're not going to say if one were to return, which one it would be.
No, we're going to figure all that out. Nothing to report on today.
Rick, we're given the contracts. it would be very difficult to move Nathan's contract, given the way that was set up. And it feels organizationally like short term, it was what it was, but long term, a decision was made when Nathan was brought back in August. How difficult would it be to have a goodbye conversation with Vernon, given what he's done, if that's the way it turns out?
Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. I talked to Vernon a lot. He's actually one of my favorite quarterbacks I've dealt with. Just the way he goes about his business and how he is. And I've been around long enough in this business too, and so is he. That it's part of what you sign up for. Is you don't know what's going to happen as far as who goes where and that front. So I'm a huge Vernon Adams fan, and I feel fortunate to have gotten to coach him.
How do you assess the performance of a guy like Alexander Hollins, the numbers he put up at the start of the year versus his production at the end of the year?
Yeah, I guess that goes back to the big play stuff. Like we weren't, and I'm not saying that's on him. I'm just saying that we kind of lost that. Is that I think we were 5-1 in part because we were making some big plays and putting up some big numbers, and that we didn't sustain that on a consistent basis. And I think that was the difference between us being on the right side of the scoreboard and not.
Double-sided question, Rick. Looking at it from a general manager's point of view, do you think a coach has a shelf life, and do you think a coach's voice either needs to change or is heard differently the longer he's on the job? From a coaching side of things.
Yeah, you kind of just take it year by year and week by week and go from there. But all I know is I'm totally excited to be here. Hope to be here as long as I can and go from there. But the name of the game too is shelf life is being willing to evolve and adapt and change and do things from anything you look at, from who the coaches are, who the players are, how you structure practice, how you structure your weeks. All those things are part of that. And I'm glad I still have that energy and fire to keep wanting to do that, because sometimes that goes away, but that's not the situation I'm in right now. I'm looking forward to adapting and growing and moving forward.
Your final message to Lions fans who were hoping to see your team play in the Grey Cup this year.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer that we didn't get it done. Everyone in this building is disappointed that we didn't get that done. So, that's too bad. But we'll have to get over it and keep moving forward. And just from the business side and everything that's gone on, that I've seen all the work that's been done to make the Grey Cup week and the whole thing a special event. It looks like it's going to be amazing. So I hope our fans go out and participate in it, because it's going to be it's a bummer that the Lions aren't there, but I know that a ton of work's being put into it to make it a great event.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.